Hey YouTube, it's Sean Sundahl. Thank you for tuning in. Those of you who are new to the channel, new subscribers, thank you so much for trusting me with the content that you're about to see in future weeks, past content. Those of you who have been lingering in there or hanging in there and putting up with my rants, especially the political rants, I appreciate you guys. If it wasn't for you guys staying on this channel and putting out great comments and feedback, I would probably just shut this channel down, but I really appreciate you guys. So in today's video, we're going to discuss a leadership concept, and that leadership concept is the concept of being objective. We get that concept from my book, The Private Patrol Operator. This is the book that you could purchase on Amazon. It's about $140 or $150. The price changes sometimes, and it's written by me, Sean Sundahl. And it was published in 2018, more or less, and it's still relevant for those of you who are going to take the Private Patrol Operator exam. That's the exam that you would take if you want to be a private security company owner in the state of California. You take the PPO exam, the Private Patrol Operator exam. Private Patrol Operator Qualified Manager exam, to be exact. They only have one exam. It's not a PPO exam. It's called the Private Patrol Operator Qualified Manager exam. You want to pass the exam. There's a good chance that if you read this book, that you might pass. No guarantees, but there's a good chance. About 88, 89% of those of you who purchase the book will end up passing. Not everybody will pass, but many do. So one of you have reached out to me. I'm not going to say who it is. I don't burn any of you guys unless you want me to mention your name. And this person had a question for me, which I was able to answer. And occasionally I will make time for that phone call. I have to be very selective on how I respond to some of the phone calls, the email inquiries. I just don't have time. Now, I don't mean to seem arrogant to you guys, and I really don't, but I have very, very limited time available. So this person asked me a question, and we talked. The person who's listening right now, you know who you are. Pretty good conversation, and I learned something new. So somebody that he supervises, a subordinate, went to take the exposed firearm psychological exam to access whether or not he's crazy to own a firearm, not own a firearm, but to possess a firearms permit, an armed guard permit in the state of California. And he did not pass. He didn't pass because he didn't understand English that well. And apparently he was under category that of people that are angry. Therefore, because of their anger, they're unable to, this classification of people are not able to control their anger. They shouldn't possess a firearm as an armed private security officer. But this is the thing, English is a second language. So he didn't understand the questions, and that's why he didn't pass. Not because he's angry. The person I talked to on the phone says that this guy's very polite, he's humble, and he's not an angry person. So it's an English barrier. 15% of you that take the psychological exam in the state of California for your firearm permit, 15% of you don't pass. I don't make up the rules. That's the rules from the state. Okay, so let's talk about today's topic. Again, this is a leadership concept of remaining objective, but let's watch a video.
But who's that? She's a security guard, and she sure seems to be ignoring the police officer's plea for assistance.
What you guys think? Okay, those of you who have been on this channel for a long time, you guys know, number one, I'm a conservative. I vote Republican whenever I can. If it makes sense, I'll vote Democrat, and that's how I vote. You guys know that I'm pro law enforcement. You don't like law enforcement, then you don't like me because I'm off-duty law enforcement. You don't like police in general, then you don't like me. You gotta leave the channel. I don't want you on here. Second or third, one of the other things is about this channel is that I like private security and I like private investigators. If you have problems with them, then this is not the channel for you at all. Okay, that's the theme of this channel. So what you saw right now is a police officer in Texas that is on the ground fighting with somebody, and apparently the video, I'm sorry, the news said that there was another officer involved. I don't know if he's plainclothes, but for sure we have at least one officer. He's fighting on the ground with a 17-year-old kid. And at the same time, you have a private security officer that is roaming around circles, and she is recording the incident apparently on her cell phone. Officer asks for help, and he does not get any help. He even says, hey, can you put something to the extent of, can you put your phone down? I need help. Like, help me, put the phone away, stop recording, and help. So my take on this, now I come from the old school law enforcement. You don't expect help from other people that are not law enforcement. If you end up getting help, then that's great. But you have to understand that your planning process, your decision to make contact with this person should revolve around you and only you being able to resolve a physical confrontation. Okay? Yes, you can call for backup. Now, if you want to wait for backup, it's an excellent idea. You might want to just set a perimeter around this kid, and then when it's time to go hands-on, then you go hands-on. You don't rely on other people around you. That's including other private security. Now, I'm saying this because I am off-duty law enforcement, and this is what I expect. I expect the public not to help me. I hope that they back me up in a situation like this, but I cannot depend on them for help. So if I feel an inkling about the situation, I just feel unusual about it, and I feel like it might go south, then I might wait for backup. Now, if I don't have backup, which is very rare, then I have to realize that it's only me that's going to be in the situation. Okay? What do you guys, right now I want you to think and answer yourself. Do you think this private security officer that was roaming around videotaping, do you think that she should be disciplined, okay, by her employer? What do you think? Answer yourself right now. Yes or no? Okay? Hopefully you decided right now. I'm going to say right now that based on the video, unless there's anything else, I would keep her employed with my company. If she worked for my company, she would still be employed. Now, I'm saying just by itself. See, as an employer, as a supervisor, as a leader, I have to remain objective. And I need to make sure that this guard, this officer, security officer, is within policy or outside of policy. So if I have a policy that says you will not use a cell phone or smart device, a personal smart device, in public view, her being on the phone recording this incident violates company policy. Okay? Number two, as for helping the police officer on scene, that's a moral obligation. As leaders in the security community, we cannot put people to a moral standard. Why is that? Well, everyone's moral standard is different. Okay? I'm a Christian, I believe in God. You might believe in another type of religion, or you might not believe in any God exists. That's up to you. But I cannot force my opinions and my expectations, well, not opinions, really my personal preferences when it comes down to moral obligations. I shouldn't enforce that on you, my value system, okay? Now, sometimes your value system can be part of a policy, okay? As long as it's objective, then you're fine. So as for her not helping the police officer, I don't think that there's any policy that I've seen with private security companies that requires you to help the police officer in need. That's a moral obligation, not necessarily going to be a policy requirement. Another thing is some companies might have a hands-off policy. So she might have she might know of the hands-off policy, and by her not engaging it, she's following the company rules, and you cannot fault her for that if she is. Okay. Now, as for recording or using a smart device in public, that's usually a policy violation with many security companies. Maybe with this company, you have to look at your past practice. In the past, have you? So me personally, I would like to terminate this person, because I feel that if I'm her partner, if I need some help, she might just pull out the phone and start recording. So I would want her to be terminated. I wouldn't want her to belong to my company at all. Okay, I can't trust her. But we got to look at the policy though. Okay, past practice. So has a past practice been that somebody who uses a smart device in public, are they terminated? Are they disciplined with maybe days off on the beach, so to speak, a written reprimand? How are they disciplined? And are you being consistent? If you're a leader in the private security industry, manager, you own the company, are you being consistent? Okay, if other people are on their cell phone in public, meaning a personal device, and this is a violation of policy, are you disciplining everybody the same? Okay, same or similar? Okay, ask yourself. Just try not to deviate, because once you discipline one person for the same act and the other you let them off the hook, okay, you can be facing a discrimination lawsuit where the attorney fees can just bankrupt your company or put your company out of business, and then the judgment will totally destroy you. So that's why you want to treat everybody equally. That's one of the reasons, other than moral obligation. And again, I can't enforce, or I shouldn't push my own moral obligations on you guys. It's up to you. Okay, so what's the history? Now, one of the last things that I want to consider if I'm going to discipline this employee is this. There might be a policy of bringing discredit to the company, the employer. Okay. Now, yes, that's one of the catch-all policies, sections that I've seen out there is discredit your agency or discredit the company. But here, if you have a policy such as that, discredit your company or your agency, I think that would apply here. And depending on the circumstance, I think if you have that policy, so this is the only way that I would terminate her, is if we had a policy in place that said that if you discredit the private security company, and again, not infringing on anyone's First Amendment right to free speech, but if you discredit them, bring shame to them, humiliation, somewhere along the lines, then that would be grounds of termination. I would definitely push that. Okay. See, this is the thing. There's somebody filming this event. Okay. Other than the other private security or the private security officer that's filming the event, someone else. Okay. The patches are in view. I mean, if you work around the area, you know what security company that is. And if you're the client and you see this, you're not going to have a lot of confidence with the security company that you hired. Therefore, you are bringing a discredit. You're discrediting the company. You're bringing shame to them, possibly loss of business. I mean, the client may not have that confidence in you, and because of that, when the next time come around for a contract renewal, they're not going to do it, because they're going to remember that incident, that this security guard, instead of maybe helping with maybe calling the police or grabbing an arm, she was just filming. Okay, she was actually just better off with just standing there and just encouraging the suspect to give up. Okay, hey, give up. You're not going to win. She was better off doing that than just standing around with the phone. Also, another issue is the guy on the ground was a 17-year-old. I don't know about you guys, but if you wrestled with or you fought with a 17-year-old It's almost like fighting with an 18-year-old, 19-year-old. They're very limber. They're agile. They're physically fit. Okay, so don't let age discredit what you. Well, let me find the right term here. Don't let age deceive you. Okay, just because somebody is a teenager, that doesn't mean that you should not use reasonable force if the situation dictates. Let me know what you guys think. What would happen at your company if something like this happened? Let's keep everything professional, you guys. We are not going to turn this into a race war. I don't want to hear any of that on this channel. Okay, everybody is equal on this channel. When you get a paper cut, or some type of laceration, everyone's blood is the same color. Doesn't matter where you're from. You guys all take care and be safe.